Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. How's everybody doing today? The chat is up and running. What's on your mind today? What do you guys want to talk about? Thanksgiving tomorrow. Big football game coming up. The show is called Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. This is a 100% free channel. There's no commercials, no midstream ads, no sponsors. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not running for political office. I'm not trying to become an online influencer. I'm just simply trying to meet people from all over the planet. This is a live stream chat Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Except tomorrow. I'm taking the holiday off so I can watch my football team. I'll be back on Friday. I'm going to take Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day off. We'll be streaming Monday through Friday other than those two holidays. This is an inclusive channel. You're encouraged to jump in the chat and voice your opinion. If you'd like to be able to chat, go to youtube.com and download the Discord app. This is also free. I'm not chasing your wallet. There are very few commercial-free shows on TV. In this show, the people in the chat are the actual stars. I will fade into the background. You'll never even know I'm here. There's no set topic on this show. You can talk about anything you want to talk about within the community guidelines that YouTube has established. It's the only platform I'm streaming on. Let's not piss them off, okay? Other than following those community guidelines, the only thing you can do wrong is not have a good time. It's a brand new show. We have not created an audience as of yet. It's starting to build. I think I'm up to 28 subscribers. And I think I'm still under 200 viewing hours. We have subscribed members from, 5 or 6 different countries. Indonesia, Latvia, Hungary, Turkey, Great Britain, United Kingdom. I think internationally we've got a decent basis. It's a start. Yeah, yesterday I went down one rabbit hole after another. Nobody chatted all day. If no one's in the chat to determine our topic, we're stuck with wherever my mind wanders in the next 2 hours. Okay. So you guys need to, jump in the chat and set a topic. What do you want to discuss? I'm all fired up about Thanksgiving Day myself. I'm ready to cook my dinner. I'm ready to watch my favorite football team. I do need to ask that you like and subscribe. This will help YouTube's algorithm sort us out and put us in front of the people we need to be in front of. But it's not required. If you feel like it, do it. If you don't, don't. Okay. This is 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. What do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind? I've been watching the news. Yesterday, I went down several rabbit holes. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to make this a political show. This show, I don't care what we talk about. You want to talk about your stuffing recipe for tomorrow? That's fine with me. I don't care. I'm trying not to put my thumb on the scale and lean the show one way or another. You don't have to agree with me to get into the chat. I'm just one guy sitting on his couch, okay? In essence, the way I see this, I've invited the world into my living room to have a 2-hour conversation. I'd appreciate it if you'd act accordingly, but it's not required. There's nothing required. This is about as low budget a show as you can get nowadays, I think. I'm paying $13.99 a month. That's it. Well, plus my internet costs, but it's minuscule. There's no production staff. There's no makeup artist. So if you're watching me in high def, I apologize, but this is as pretty as I'm going to get. It's been an interesting week so far. I think Monday I did 2 hours on the futility of hate in our society. I have yet to see anything get built from hatred or anger. The news, no, it doesn't seem to matter what channel I watch, what network I'm watching. It doesn't seem to matter. It's all the same tactics. They're trying to scare you with crime that does not exist. Yes, there is crime in America, and I'm not trying to belittle it. But I'm telling you, step out your front door and point to the criminal. You can't. But by watching the news, you'd think that 50% of us were homicidal maniacs, and it's just not the case. A few years back, I did a little research for a book I was trying to write. And in my research, I found out that 93% of all Americans are not criminal. They're not. There's 340 million people in this country, in the United States. Of that, only 7% can be considered felony criminals. I'm not talking about jaywalking tickets or speeding tickets. I'm talking about violent crime felonies, people that go to prison. 7%. That's 7% of 340 million. So there's less than 3 million criminals. I'm just picking a round number here. Of that 3 million criminals, 2 million of them are already behind bars. They're sitting in prison, in jail, awaiting trial. They're locked up. I don't care what town you live in, your police outnumber your bad guys by a lot. Personal opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. You're more than welcome to voice your opinion. That's why this show is here. I'm giving you a chance to be heard. Throughout the history of the United States, the criminal population has never exceeded 7%. It's never been 8%. It's never been 6%. It holds constant at 7%. I don't care if your local news tells you crime's on the rise. It's not. I don't care if your local news tells you that crime's declining. It's not. It remains constant, 7%. Which means 93% of us are not sitting around concocting crimes. We're not plotting against America. There's not a John Wick hitman on every corner in America. I don't care if you live in Chicago, New York, or Hicksville, Ohio. It's just not the case. You too can go to college and get a degree and learn how mass media is scaring America. They're not reporting the news. They are propaganda outlets. And they scare us to divide us and make us easier to control and manipulate. Plain and simple. There aren't that many bad guys. They are scaring you. They're not telling you the good news. Do you realize how helpful people are in this country? We all know manners. We all use our manners. We say please and thank you. We're courteous. You never hear about the courteous drivers that let people merge. You only hear about the road rage guy that went off, right? Sensationalism. That's all it is. They're trying to scare you. There's a lot of films of shootings. Yes, I understand. I see them. But that's because we have cameras now. Everybody's walking around with a camera in their pocket. So obviously you see more crime now than you did in the past because it's filmed and it's broadcast on TV. They're using it to scare you in order to control and manipulate you. You hear it. They come on with their little tease line in the middle of the afternoon. Mother attacked. Story at 11. Everybody tunes in at 11. Whose mother was attacked and for what? They're setting the hook. Don't let them pull you into the boat. Don't fall for the propaganda. Don't let them divide us. We're all good guys. We're not bad guys. Are you sitting around plotting? I'm not. Those thoughts never enter my mind. But if you watch the news, you would think, There's a killer on every corner. And it's just not true. The Democrats tell you, oh, the Republicans are plotting against you. They're out to get you. No, they're not. The Republicans tell you the same thing about the Democrats. They're evil. No, they're not. They're trying to divide you. They're trying to tell you, you can't trust that guy. Guess what? You can trust him. Are some of them motivated poorly and simply trying to enrich themselves and be greedy little bastards? Yes. That's human nature. But there's not a guy with an AR-15 on every corner in America. It's just not the case. Do we have mental health issues? Yes. Do we have unlimited guns? Yes. Most of the gun owners are responsible. Most of the gun owners take care of their guns and their ammunition. Most of the hunters I know hunt responsibly, or they wouldn't have been hunting with me. And every hunter I know can sit and say the same thing. They wouldn't hunt with somebody that didn't have proper gun safety. These are the facts. From my perspective, as I see it, sitting here on my end of my couch, okay? I'm trying to tell you, the whole world is not plotting to kill you. They're busy. They're leading their lives. They're building for their future. They're taking care of their families. They want you to be divided. They don't want you to unite. When you unite, you scare the hell out of them because they can't figure out how to control you. They're using fear. The news media is owned by the same corporations that are bribing your politicians, trying to get them to pass laws that do not benefit you, but instead benefit some corporation. It's just the way it is. It's not Walter Cronkite on the news, okay? Those days are long gone. They're never coming back. They make money by dividing us up and controlling us. They turn a profit. That's what it is. That's what motivates them. That's all they care about. The corporations in this country do not have the same moral or ethical standards that you and I have. In my opinion, feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. In my opinion, they want to keep us divided so that they can control us. They don't want us to unite. So if your elected representative, be he Democrat or Republican, is telling you that the other side of the aisle is plotting against you, they're not. They simply are trying to scare you to make you easier to control. Don't fall for it. If you think that you got to hate someone because they're in a different political party, You've been radicalized. They brainwashed you. The Republicans are not trying to destroy America. The Democrats are not trying to destroy America. The independents are not trying to destroy America. The 60% of the population that doesn't bother to vote or participate in elections, they're not trying to destroy America either. They offer you no proof. They're just brainwashing you. They're telling you something over and over and over again until you believe it. Why don't they tell you that the good guys in this country outnumber the bad guys by 10 to 1? Why don't they tell you that? Because then they couldn't motivate you to do what they're instructing you to do. It's ridiculous, if you ask me. People are not plotting against people. People are just simply trying to live their life the way they see fit. They're building for a future. They're raising children. They're busy. They're running around trying to get some quality of life while at the same time maintain and not lose their financial status. People are under stress. That's evident. Stress is killing people all around the planet. Take a look around. We have some issues in our society. Don't get me wrong. It is human nature to lash out at others. From time to time, we all lash out to one degree or another. That's normal human behavior. I know it's normal because we all do it. But lashing out can only go so far. And then it breaks the law. You can lash out at people all you want. It's not going to do you any good. What you're doing is you're actually telling them, well, it's okay for you to lash out at me. I lashed out at you, so there's your proof that it's okay for you to lash out at someone else. That's not the answer. What's the truth about lashing out? If you walk up to somebody and you hit them in the mouth, what's that called? Oh, assault. You go to jail for that. So you can only lash out to a certain point. You cannot threaten people. What happens if you threaten people online? The FBI tracks you down and throws your ass in jail and tells you you can't threaten people. Hello? Same thing. You're allowed to own a gun. Legally, you can own a gun. Can you point it at another human being without breaking the law? No. Can you pull the trigger? No. Okay. It's not legal. I don't care if you own 45 guns. You cannot point them at a single person without breaking the law. You cannot shoot at people. That crap's on TV. That's not real life. Real life society has a set of laws. It's an umbrella that hangs over all of us. Then we all have to operate within the legal limit. If you break the law, you go to jail. Your actions have consequences. You are held accountable for your actions. So you have the right to get angry at people, and you have the right to lash out at people to a point. At some point, you cross that line, you're going to go to jail. If you've been radicalized to the point where you think that you need to be violent against other people, you need some counseling, my friend. You've been radicalized. You need to get some help. These politicians that are telling you to hate the other side are wrong. How do you get to hate? Disagreement is okay. You can disagree with people all day, every day. Dislike is okay. You can dislike other people. But in order to take that dislike and move it forward and get it to hatred, you have to add a component that you don't want to add to anything in your life. And that component is uncontrolled fear. Let me clarify. Controlled fear is a good thing, can keep you and your family alive. A little bit of fear keeps you from stepping off the edge of a cliff, keeps you from walking down the dark alley at 3 o'clock in the morning. That little bit of fear is a good thing. But uncontrolled fear is never a good thing. When fear runs rampant and is uncontrolled, rational thinking is tossed out the window. Let's hold on to our rational thinking, and let's not hate anyone. Not based on their religion, the color of their skin, their income level, their job title. Does you no good to hate. What are you going to build with that hate? What are you going to build with that anger? Is there a prize at the end of that tunnel? Oh, I hated that guy more than anything in the world, so I win the prize. What is the prize? Define it to me. Show it to me. Point it to me. You can't. There's no prize. All that stress is going to chew a hole in the bottom of your stomach. It's a proven fact that your mental condition directly affects your physical health. They figured this out with chess players decades ago. They hook the electrodes up and play the game of chess. And as you get stressed out in the game, your heart rate changes. Your breathing changes. You start to perspire. Okay. There's a direct correlation between your mental health and your physical health. So do you think it's okay to walk around being angry 24/7? It's going to physically affect your health. Think about it. What do you get for being that angry? There's no reward. There's no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. Okay. All you're doing is you're giving yourself grief. You're hurting your physical health with your own mental attitude. Find a way to deal with that anger and get it to subside. You want quality of life, don't you? Find something to do with that anger. Find something to do with that hatred. You cannot hate without having an uncontrolled fear. The little baby laying in his room, you shut off the light. Daddy, I'm afraid of the dark. Let me show you. There's no monsters in your closet. There's no monsters under your bed. You teach that child to control his fears, to control his imagination. So grow up. Control your fears. That guy that votes against you every time you cast your ballot is not your enemy. He's an opponent in the election, but he's not your enemy. He's not conspiring to kill you. You've been radicalized and you think that this hate is the way to go, and it's not. It's the opposite of where you want to be. Your quality of life is not going to become enhanced by hating people. You don't need to embrace your fears. You need to control your fears. And without uncontrolled fear, you cannot hate. If you control those fears, you can stay rational. If the fears do not have any controls, what happens? You're going to be human and you're going to lash out. There's no prize. You don't get anything for it. You get held accountable for your actions. You can't just walk up to people on the street and hit them. You're held accountable. If you're going to be held accountable, you better be controlling your fears. Because when you have uncontrolled fear, rational thinking is tossed out the window. Control your fears. Get past that. It's not hate. It's dislike. What's wrong with dislike? You can dislike me if you want. Dislike's not illegal. Dislike's not containing uncontrolled fear. You want to hate? Go ahead and hate, but it's not going to get you anything. There's no prize. There's no reward. Oh, I'm the best hater in the nation. What do I get for that? Diddly and squat, you dumbass. Okay. Get past it. I'll tell you how you treat the guy that votes against you. With tolerance. Live and let live. You cannot force him to do as you command. It's not your place. You're not his judge. You're not his jury. You have no right to try to tell him how to live his life. And vice versa, he has no right to tell you how to live your life. If he makes mistakes, so be it. He'll learn his lesson. You've made mistakes. You've learned your lessons. I've made my mistakes. I've learned my lessons. You cannot micromanage your neighbor. Why do people live in cities? People live in cities so that they can collaborate and work together and be more successful than they could be on their own. That's why we have cities, towns, villages even, so that people can get together, work together, and build bigger and better things than they could do on their own. This is what built America. People working together, not hating each other, not constantly being angry at one another. We need to be tolerant, live and let live. I don't care how you live your life. It's none of my business. And I'm not going to allow you to micromanage my life. I'm not going to allow you to tell me how to live my life. If that's the case, then what do we have to do? We have to become more tolerant. We have to be willing to put aside our differences and still work together in this city in which we live so we can continue to build bigger and better things. So we can consider or continue to survive and thrive. If you want to go and move out into the country and live 50 miles from your nearest neighbor, you can still do that. But everything that you do from that point on becomes more difficult. In the city where most of us live, there's help. I don't have to cut all my own firewood. I can just simply walk over to the thermostat and turn up the heat. I don't have to pump my own water. I can just simply walk over the faucet and turn it on. How rural do you want to live? How far away from people do you want to get? Every step you take makes your life more difficult. Being in the city has conveniences. I can have groceries delivered. If you live in the middle of nowhere, are you going to be able to get your groceries delivered? Are you even going to have access to a grocery store? We need the cities because we need the help. It makes our life easier. The store is open 24 hours in the big cities. Anytime you want, you can get up and go to the store. Nice, convenient, easy. Now, if you live 50 miles away from that store, guess what? It's not as convenient. It's not as nice. It's not as easy. Be more tolerant of people. Understand why we live together in groups. We need each other. We rely on each other every day. We just don't realize it. We take it for granted. Yesterday, I went out. I had breakfast with some family members. I relied on the cook, the waitress, the restaurant owner. I relied on all of them. Then I went to the grocery store. I relied on the grocery store and all those people doing their jobs every day. Then I went to the bank. Oh, I relied on those people too. They helped me out. All I had to do was go in there, be nice, and ask. There's conveniences in the cities. That's why we live in the cities. We don't realize it. But if the guy that makes the salt shaker didn't go to work, there's no salt shaker when I need one. When the guy that is working on the oil rig pumps the oil, sends it to the refinery, sends it to the gas station, now all I got to do is pull up to the pump, put in my card, and I got gas. I'm relying on everybody in that chain, and I don't even know their name. I don't know who the heck they are, but I'm relying on them to do their job. We all do our job every day, but we don't realize how intertwined we all are. So be more tolerant with one another. Live and let live. Allow that man to lead his life. He'll go in, he'll do his job, and you can silently rely on him. It's just another cog in the machinery of life, right? But I got to be tolerant of him. I've got to give him some space. I've got to allow him to be an individual. He needs to allow me to be an individual. You cannot pick and choose for others. You must live and let live. It's not my place to micromanage your life. It's not your place to micromanage my life. We all make our own decisions. We all are moving forward, and we're all doing the best we can. We have to accept that, understand that, and then we need to cut each other some slack. Live and let live. Spend every day being the most kind, understanding, patient, compassionate person you can be. Live and let live. I guarantee you that Democratic politician that's telling you to hate the Republican, that Republican politician that's telling you to hate the Democrat, when push comes to shove and we're all standing in chin-high water, that politician's not going to be anywhere to be seen. That guy that's telling you to hate your neighbor isn't going to be there to help. Who will be there? Oh, the neighbor. He'll be there to help. Is he willing to help you? Are you willing to help him? I think you are. When the shit hits the fan, your neighbor that you've been told that you must hate because you don't like the way he dresses, because you don't like his religion, because you don't like his politics, he's going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with you, helping, working together. That neighbor that you've been told to hate is at that point going to be your best friend. I'm not telling you to hate anybody. It's the exact opposite. I'm telling you, you better understand that that guy, that neighbor that they're telling you to hate is your best friend, because when the flood waters rise and he's cruising by in a boat, do you think he's going to offer you a hand and pull you out of the water? I do. If the roles reversed and you're the one in the boat, are you going to watch the man drown, or are you going to help him out of the water? You're going to help him. Why? Because that's what we do. We always try to do the right thing. We have morals. We have ethics. When we have morals and we have ethics, guess what? We don't hate. Remember, hate includes uncontrolled fear. We get past our fears and we help one another no matter what, because the shit's hit the fan. Push has come to shove. If we don't work together, we're not going to survive. And this is my point when I'm telling you, live and let live. That politician that's telling you you must hate the other side is not your friend. He's the enemy. But he's doing it secretly. He's trying to control you with your fears. He's trying to manipulate you with your fears. Your fears cannot build anything, but your fears can tear down everything. Uncontrolled fear is not good. Controlled fear is, but not uncontrolled. Think about it. These are my opinions. Feel free to disagree. Jump in the chat. Tell me where I'm wrong. Explain it to me, Lucy. Okay? That's what this show's all about. You get a choice to voice your opinion. We don't have to talk about politics and hate. That's where my mind has wandered today, but I've been watching the news all week. And every time I turn on the news, they're telling me I got to hate these other people. They're telling me that these other people are out to get me. And it's just not true. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know how else I can explain it. But I'm telling you that these people that are telling you that it's okay to hate, these aren't the good guys, folks. These aren't the smart ones. The smart people are not telling you to hate one another. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care what your political preference is. I'm not afraid of you. I have no reason to fear you. You've never done anything to me. So if somebody is telling me to hate you, I'm going to tell them no, go pound sand. Ain't nothing wrong with that guy. If I'd worked an 8-hour shift with him, he'd be my friend. If I'd had lunch with him, he'd be my good friend. And I don't care if he doesn't speak English. I worked in Vegas for 30 plus years. I met minimum 100 people a week, every week, from all over the globe. And guess what? They were all nice people. I don't hate a single one of them. Got no reason to hate them. I got no reason to have any uncontrolled fears. I have reason to control my fears so that I can get quality of life. That makes a difference if you ask me. Quality of life is what I want. That's what matters. That has a value, an intrinsic value that can't be matched. I want happiness and good times in my life. So I'm going to keep my mental status in a good frame of mind. I'm not going to start hating and fearing uncontrollably because there's no prize at the end of that tunnel. I get no reward for being a hater. I actually get a better frame of mind, so I get to stay healthy. Even though I'm smoking cigarettes, how is that possible? Keep that uncontrolled fear out of your life. Keep the hate out of your life. You will have a better quality of life, and you will even be healthier. Personal opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. I welcome you. But I don't think you're going to convince me to start hating. Show me something that was built from hate. Show me something that was built from anger. Point it out to me. I don't see it. Tolerance. That's what we need. Be tolerant of one another. I can't change you. Only you can change you. I'm not going to try to change you, but I am here to have a discussion with you to let you know my opinion, my perspective, my views from my end of my couch. And I'm telling you that I see no future in hating everybody. I don't see any future in hating anyone. What can it get me? Name one positive thing I can get by hating you. Nothing. It means it has no tangible value. Your hate is a waste of your time. It's a waste of your energy, and it's probably bad for your health. Personal opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree, but I don't see it. Like and subscribe if you could. I appreciate the people that are viewing. I appreciate all the people. Even if you disagree with me, you're welcome. Okay? This is an inclusive channel. It's not exclusive. It's not a club that only so many people can join. It's an inclusive channel where everyone is welcome. Everyone has a right to voice their opinion. As long as we stay within the community guidelines of YouTube, we're golden. And it's my statement that hate gets you nothing. You can hate if you want to, but as far as I'm concerned, it ain't going to get you nothing but maybe an ulcer. Okay. maybe your hate will, you'll lose control and you'll lash out, and then you're going to be held accountable, because people that lash out are held accountable. My personal opinion, I'm not going to waste my time hating anybody. I get nothing out of it. If there was a prize, I'd probably work for it, but there's no prize. There's no reward. So what would be my point? I'm not saying I don't get angry. I get pissed off. So what? I don't stay that way. If you stay pissed off, guess what? You're pissing on your own life. You're robbing yourself of a good quality of life. That has value to me. I want happiness. I want laughter. I want joy. Personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. Jump in the chat. Let me know. If you're tired of talking about this, jump in the chat and change the subject. I'll pivot on a dime. Wrong terminology. I'll pivot immediately. I don't want your dime. I'm just saying, you get nothing for all this hate. I turn it on the TV and I see it every day, day in and day out. This is why I believe in self-censorship. I don't want other people to censor me, but I believe I have the right to censor my input. And I go a week at a time without watching the news. I don't allow any of that negative information in my brain. If that news was real, it'll be there a week later. It's too much negativity. So once in a while, I self-censor. I shut it off. I'm not willing to input any more negative bullshit. I'm thinking of taking that week off. I'm thinking of making that a month. Okay. I'm thinking of going longer without it, because it makes me feel so good when I'm not getting bombarded with it day after day after day. Our news is so negative. It's negative by design. They're scaring us so that they can get ratings, so that they can get followers, so they can pad their own pockets. Okay. They think it's cool to divide people. They can make money off of it. There's almost nothing that goes on that is newsworthy in this country that they are willing to tell you about that's good news. Or if it is good news, they try to frame it and make you think that it's bad. That's not right either. They're omitting half the news. They're not even telling you about it because they don't respect you. It's the opposite. They give themselves kudos for disrespecting you. This is not a planet full of killers. This is not an evil planet. These people make a conscious choice in their rush to enrich themselves. These people are morally and ethically deficient. Think about that. How do they come home and sit across from their family at dinner? I don't understand it. If your corporation is bribing politicians so that the politicians do bad things, things that are below our minimum moral and ethical standards, think about it. Nothing is done in this country. Nothing is done in this country that is not for profit by a corporation. Corporations are profit-driven businesses. Their decisions are meant to increase their profit at any cost. This is why they think it's okay to bribe our politicians, to put all this dark money into politics. You want to straighten it out? There's a couple of ways. First thing we need to do is get all the dark money out of politics. Why is a political contribution tax deductible? Shouldn't be. Feel free to disagree. Jump in the chat and tell me. That political contribution, when the politician spends that money, he gets matching funds from the government. So he takes tax-free money and gets more tax-free money. Why? If I have to pay sales tax, if I have to pay property tax, if I have to pay income tax, why are other people getting things tax-free? They should not. Political contributions should not be tax deductible. Personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. Most of what you see online is a scam. Those influencers that are online, some of those are from foreign countries. Some of those are bots. Some of those are not real people. But you can't tell because the online world is not ruled by common sense. It's ruled by greed. Personal opinion. I'm drinking, this is Powerade. It's electrolytes. I'm following doctor's orders. Don't ask me why. Probably just because I'm getting old. I never used to follow their orders. Now for some reason, I retain that shit. Oh, I don't mean to go off too much today. I'd really like to lighten up. Yeah, it's nasty weather here today. You might hear my wind chimes outside. We got 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. We got rain turning to snow. It's trying to be winter. Okay. I'm going to hunker down and stay indoors. My plans for tomorrow are fantastic. I'm going to sleep as late in the morning as I possibly can. And then I'm going to watch football all day. There's like 3 games tomorrow. The Green Bay Detroit game, my number 1 priority. I'm a Detroit fan, and they're struggling this year. There's basically 6 games left, and the Lions have put themselves in a position where they have to win 4 of the 6 in order to get into the playoffs. That's an estimation. I believe they have to win all their remaining division games. I'm going to watch the game on YouTube at a watch party tomorrow with Mike Kimber. He's also a Southwest Michigan guy. Single father. Yeah. I got a lot in common with the guy. I identify with him. When he's yelling on the TV because the Lions are screwing up, I'm usually standing up yelling the exact same thing in my living room. He does overreact over more than I did. I seen him fall out of his chair in Sunday's game. He got so excited he fell right out of his chair. In overtime, Jahmyr Gibbs busted one, basically won the game for us in the first play of overtime. So, yeah, Mike fell out of his chair. I got excited too, but I didn't fall off the couch. But yeah, I watch his watch party. He's just very entertaining. He keeps it 100. You know what I mean? It's not trying to blow a bunch of smoke up your skirt. Most of these sportscasters, they just don't measure up. I like watching Mike, and I also like watching Tom Grossi. I'll watch Mike for probably the first half of the game. And then if the Lions are winning handily, I'll probably turn over to watch Tom Grossi for the second half of the game so I can see him cry about Green Bay losing. I'm just a little bit competitive. Not a whole lot, just a wee bit. I appreciate all you guys that are viewing today. It actually makes me think someday this channel will be successful. I think it's probably harder to be successful because it's a free show. I guess. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm doing with this whole YouTube crapola. I'm learning as I go, I have a friend, Crumbleina. She helps me out. She reads the instructions. I'm not a detail-oriented guy. I'm more of a rounded-off kind of guy. I used to, when I was a younger man, I was detail-oriented. And I'm just nowhere near there now. Now, close enough is okay with me. You know what I mean? Then Crumbleina pays attention to details. She'll read your whole rule book and then beat you half to death with it if she has to. Okay. I really appreciate her ability to pay attention to the small details. I got one. She bought me a heated vest, and I tried to fire the thing up today. Struggled greatly. Yeah, well, there's like a 17-page instruction book, and I got about halfway through the first page. My eyes rolled back into the back of my head, and I started getting dizzy, and I'm like, oh, I can't stand this. I threw it on the back of the table, and I called Crumbelina, and I said, help me. She'll come over later, and she'll figure it all out and show me how to operate it. And then, ta-da, I'll have a heated vest for this nasty weather. Yeah, I started breaking out the long johns today. I don't have them on, but I'm going to start wearing them. Michigan weather, you need layers, okay? It can get cold as sin, so. But yeah, so I'm going to do that later this evening. But the show, afternoon chat, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for tomorrow. I'm going to take tomorrow off. Humor me. I got to watch my football game, and I'm actually going to make my own Thanksgiving dinner. I have not invited anyone over, and I have not accepted anyone's invitation. I got a half a turkey breast, and I'm going to slice that up and fry it up. Stovetop stuffing, maybe some potatoes and gravy. I might do crescent rolls too. I'm undecided. See how hungry I am tomorrow. I enjoy watching the football game. And if you're doing things at other people's house, they could be scheduling dinner to be ready while the football game's on. And that's not the way my brain operates. I want to watch my football game, then I'll cook the dinner. Okay. While the other games are going on, And I got hat head today. After I got out of the shower, I had to go to the office and pay rent. So I threw a hat on, and there's no helping it now. It dried inside the hat. So I'm just going to look squirrely today. Sorry. No offense. I don't mean to, but, this is this is the way it is. And I might look at the Good Friday deals as far as like maybe getting another camera or something so I can get rid of the glare that's coming in off my glasses. It's because the laptop's sitting right in front of me. Well, I like the microphone that's in the laptop. I really don't want to change that. The microphone's sensitive. It picks up everything. Had a kid a couple of weeks ago walk by dribbling a basketball while I was live streaming, and had somebody in the chat that was in Indonesia, and he heard the basketball. And after I got off that stream, I went into the park. I seen the kid. I know him, he's one of my neighbors. And I told him, I said, that was the dribble heard around the world. And he said, what? And I told him, my mic picked it up. And the guy in Indonesia said he heard it. So it's the dribble heard round the world. It was about a 5-second delay. I think it's good, one kid's dribble. That wasn't available when I was a kid, you know. But, you know, when birds are up outside the window and chirping and stuff, the mic picks it up, you know. So I'm like, oh, okay. The mic's good then. So I don't really have an interest in changing that, but I could probably switch cameras and get it so that, you know, you don't have to look at the glare in my glasses. I honestly have eyeballs in there, you know. You just can't see it because of the reflection from the laptop screen. I don't know, maybe I could turn down the brightness, but then I wouldn't be able to read the chat. And, you know, some days people actually get in the chat. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying some people do. And, you know, I like to read other people's opinions, and I like to, you know, meet other people from different areas of the globe. It's very interesting to me. Well, nowadays the news is not news, it's propaganda. So if you really want to know what's going on in Indonesia, you got to talk to a guy in Indonesia. You want to know what's going on in other parts of your country, talk to other people. People tell you straight. I don't have very many people ever lie to me. It's a real rarity, but I don't have time in my life for people that lie. People lie for, well, 3 basic reasons. Well, okay, 4. Number 1, you got those guys that they can't feel they participated unless they've lied. Those are the, you know, pathological liars. They're in a category all their own. But other than that, you got 3 things. You got they're trying to hide their shame, their fear, or their greed. You know what I mean? Could be a mixture of the 3, but that's what liars are. Is they're trying to hide something from you. And it's generally going to be their fears, their shame, or their greed. That's why people lie, in my opinion. I mean, feel free to disagree. Jump in the chat, straighten me out. But that's the way I see it. And when somebody lies to me, I make a mental note and I find less time for them in my life. I never invite a liar into my home. Ever. Not going to happen. But people are lying to hide things from you. They don't want you to know the truth. They're afraid that if you know the truth, you won't like them. And my stance on that is, if they're lying, then I don't want to like them. I don't want them in my life. Personal opinion, personal preference. One of the things I learned to do many years ago, I actually will sit down and make a list. Actually, 2 lists. One would be negative influences on my life. The other would be positive influences on my life. And then I consciously schedule time, more time for the positives. I consciously schedule less time for the negatives. So if you're a negative influence on my life, I'm not going to schedule any time to be with you. In my experience, that negative list eventually dries up and goes away. All you're left with are the positive influences on your life, and they're a good thing. So, personal opinion. I learned that in I'll say like 1988, something like that. A long time ago. Okay. Yeah. I think that came from an old A.L. Williams seminar. A.L. Williams, what are their names? Goes by something now, a different name now. Primerica, maybe, something like that. Used to be A.L. Williams in the 80s, you know. But just a seminar I went to on scheduling time is a way to straighten out your life. Get rid of the negative influences on your life and strengthen the positive influences on your life is to your advantage. In my opinion. So what's on your mind? What do you guys want to talk about? We got, 40 minutes of show left, thereabouts. Jump in there in the chat and straighten me out. Make me straighten up and fly right. I don't have all the answers, but I'm old enough that I got a few. I've been there and I've done that in a lot of instances. And if you want to talk about something I really know nothing about, I'll tell you I know nothing about it. Yeah, I roll my own cigarettes and I did a real bad job on this one. Sometimes I'm not the best because I really don't pay attention to details like I should. I did it when I was young. When I was young, I was sharp. I never missed a beat. And now most of my problem results in the fact that I realize I just don't care. You know? I used to worry about everything, sun up to sundown. I was always on the go. I was always busy. I was always worried. I was always working. I always had a full-time job plus a side hustle. You know, no, it didn't get me anywhere. My ex-wife's got everything. I got nothing. Okay. I'm divorced 3 times. Well, 3 strikes and I'm out. I'm out of the dating game now. Not for me. I'm tired of losing half my shit. Okay. Personal opinion. I don't recommend anything like that for other people. Just because I do it doesn't mean you should. I smoke cigarettes and pot. I don't recommend you do either. Well, the fact that I got 3 divorces would probably lead you to believe I was a crummy husband. I'd consider that a fair assessment. I'd like to think that I tried, that I put forth an effort, but apparently it was not enough. Oh, I haven't asked anyone out in years. I see no reason to. Well, remember, I spent a lot of time in Vegas. You got to sort through the gold diggers in Vegas. In Vegas, they have the, well, I don't know what the girls call it. I call it an upgrade program. If you're married to a girl and you're making 30,000 a year, they cheat on you with guys that are making 50,000 a year. If you're making 50,000 a year, then they cheat on you with guys that make 100,000 a year. They're just constantly looking for that upgrade. I remember talking to a woman. She told me she was a millionaire and said she'd been married 12 times. 12, yeah. It's not illegal. You can upgrade too, you know. I punched her up in the computer and I looked, and she must have been worth something. She was losing 50 grand a year into the slot machines. So, you know. But yeah, I call it the Vegas upgrade program. There's always going to be somebody that makes more money than you do. So, but you know, Vegas, maybe there's more gold diggers per square mile or something there. I don't know. I'm not going to pay attention to those details. All I know is I'm going to keep my guard up, and I don't see myself ever proposing to a woman again the rest of my life. But hey, who knows? I mean, I smoke dope and I drink, so maybe I'll get wasted and screw up my life. I don't know. Hopefully, I've outgrown that stuff, but you know, you never know, right? I'm sorry, I digress. Well, that's the problem when you guys don't get into the chat, is you guys learn way too much about me. Okay. I'm just going to sit here and ramble about whatever crosses my empty little brain today, you know. And I fall down rabbit holes one right after the other, you know. Well, most of today's show, you know, I don't know, can't really call it concise, but I stayed on topic for most of the show, right? Anti-hate, you know, that I think that's pretty good. I don't see anybody else on TV telling you the things I'm telling you. If you do, if you see a show that's telling the people the same thing I'm saying, tell me about it in the chat and I'll look them up. But, you know, I don't see anybody else telling you that the good guys outnumber the bad guys by a lot. All I see them doing is showing you that there's a sicko murderer on every corner, and it's just not true. No, there's 2 million bad guys that are in jail. They're behind bars. Okay. So I don't care what town you live in, your cops in your town outnumber the number of bad guys in your town by a lot. Believe me. I don't think the cops even realize that they outnumber the bad guys that drastically. I think that's why they're running around harassing people. They train them, to think that everybody they run into is going to be a super bad guy, and it's just not the case. The super villain, the lifelong career criminal that's 70 years old, that's in TV. The truth of the matter is, if the guy's really that much of a bad guy, he probably gets killed before he ever sees 40 years old. Or he's in prison for all those years. Most of the criminals in our society reform. The 20-year-old that steals a car, pays his debt to society, and realizes that he made some poor choices in his youth, and he's not willing to make those poor choices again. Now he gets a girl, they start having kids, they get married, they want to buy a house, they're buying cars, they've got jobs and responsibilities. They're too busy to commit a crime. They have a vested interest into seeing a good outcome. The 20-year-old didn't have the same vested interest. He had nothing. He was just drinking, He made a mistake at 20. He doesn't stay a criminal. He actually comes back into society, gets a job, pays his taxes, and keeps his nose clean because he don't want to go back to prison. Prison's not a nice place. Most criminals reform. They don't stay lifelong criminals. That crap's in the movies, okay? The old criminal that's been a criminal for decade after decade after decade, that's very rare. Most of those guys get killed. They don't make it that long, okay? In my opinion, feel free to disagree. Jump in the chat. If you want to be able to chat, just use your phone. Go to youtube.com and download the Discord app. It's free. I have been told that some of the latest TVs, you can just, chat on your TV, but I haven't seen one with my own eyes, so I'll believe it when I see it. But supposedly the new smart TV, if you've got all the bells and whistles, you can sit there and chat with your remote control, I guess. But like I said, I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. No, I think most people just use another device like a phone, a tablet, or a computer. When I chat, I use my laptop. I'll be watching Mike Kimber tomorrow on TV, but I'll fire up the laptop so that I can chat with him throughout the show, make comments, and sometimes I ask him questions. Well, he follows the Lions for a living. I'm just a fan, you know what I mean? So a lot of times I don't hear some of the latest injury news or whatever, and I can ask Mike and I know that he's going to, tell me the truth, A lot of times, they'll have a guy listed as questionable, and Mike can turn and tell you, oh, he's not going to play. That's why I watch Mike Kimber, because he follows the Lions for a living year round, you know. Hey, I got to give kudos where kudos are due, you know what I mean? He makes it easy for me to be a Lions fan because all I got to do is subscribe and like his videos, and he'll keep putting them out. And I keep getting updated information. I've watched his videos every day this week. When I get offline today, there'll be another one posted. I'd be willing to bet money on it. He just does, little 12-minute blurbs, give you the up-to-date news, and then, you move on. It's got to spend your whole life on it, But as a Lions fan, I want up-to-the-date information in regards to the Lions, Yeah, so I'm going to do turkey tomorrow. I got the boneless, skinless turkey breast. And I'm just going to fry it up with some butter. Well, I'm a single guy. I don't need to cook a whole turkey, I did that shit when I had kids at home, My kids, they're probably going to my ex-wife's house for Thanksgiving dinner, I would assume. I'll probably hear from them. So, they'll probably call me at some point during the day. I have 2 sons and a granddaughter. Yeah, Grandpa Ghost. Yeah, I'm real proud of my kids. I'm real proud of my granddaughter. Granddaughter's getting ready to start college next year. Yeah. It's impressive. I'm super proud of the kids, all of them. They're all excellent human beings. I think that's all we want as parents, is to be proud of our kids, to have them have a better life than we had. My sons, they travel the globe. They're all over the place. If it's not Costa Rica, it's Germany. If it's not Germany, it's China. They're always on the go. They come and visit me here. Okay. I don't have to do the traveling anymore. They can do it. Well, when you're a smoker, travel is... the last time I was in Detroit Airport, it was, I don't know, maybe a 2-mile walk to get out of the airport from the terminal I was at to get out to where I could legally smoke a cigarette. It was probably 2 miles. Seriously. Unacceptable. The only consolation I can tell the smokers is, hey, in the future, I think they're going to make fat people eat cheesecake outside. Maybe then we'll get some changes. That's a joke. Okay, that's a joke. I'm sorry. Nothing against people that are overweight. I understand. I do not suffer that issue. Okay. I'm underweight. I actually need to gain weight. This winter, I'll probably be going on the cake diet. Okay. I'm not trying. It was just a joke. I apologize. Okay. I am not a professional comedian. You cannot expect my jokes to measure up to their caliber. Okay. I'm just a guy sitting on his couch. that smokes cigarettes and doesn't like to have to walk 3 miles to get to the smoking section, okay? I smoke cigarettes and pot, and I don't recommend that you do either. Just because you see me doing something don't mean it's right for you to do. I used to tell my boys, do as I say, not as I do. Okay? I'm not trying to be a role model. That's not my goal. Okay? Well, this is the second day I haven't had anyone in the chat. Means I'm just sitting here rambling on. We'll probably have a real good show on Friday. Well, if the Lions win. The Lions lose, Friday's show could suck. I'm just saying, if the Lions, when they lose, I don't respond well. I don't like to lose. And no, I don't bet any money on the games. I just simply like them, and I watch the games, But yeah, if the Lions lose, Friday's show might suck really bad. And it won't be on purpose, believe me. But if the Lions win, maybe it'll be a good show. I just, it's my favorite show, I used to like to play a lot of sports when I was young. And I was never physically talented at all. I wasn't good at any of them. I just enjoyed playing them. I was a bogey golfer at best. At best. I mean, I had some decent rounds, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't great. Okay. Well, before my vision went, I used to be an excellent shot with a gun or a bow. When the vision went and I was no longer an excellent shot, I lost interest and I got rid of my guns and my bows, Saw no reason to keep doing it if I couldn't excel. It's like I used to bowl both hands. And when I couldn't bowl anymore, I stopped bowling. It wasn't as fun as it used to be. You know what I mean? I used to play pool, loved playing pool. When the vision went and I was no longer an excellent pool player, I lost interest. I suppose I could still play pool, use the glasses, but I'll never be as good as I was. I enjoy watching pro football, but we've got some teams up here, Michigan State, Western Michigan. If I see their games are on, I'll sit and watch, Even Notre Dame, Well, I got relatives that are all of these schools are their alma maters. I did not go to college myself. No, I I never even graduated high school. I have a ninth grade juvie school education. And yet I'm a published author and I have my own TV show. I'm not saying I took the right path. I'm just saying this was my path. But there I go again, giving you guys too much information. You're learning way too much about me. This show is not supposed to be about me. Okay. This show is supposed to be about you guys, the people in the chat. This is your show. You're supposed to determine the topics that we talk about. It's not supposed to be just me sitting here rambling on for 2 hours a day. It's supposed to be you guys controlling all this stuff. Back in the day, I used to get into live chat rooms that didn't have a topic, and I enjoyed them. Then I got busy and I worked and everything, and then I come back and I look around and all those live chat rooms are gone. And I'm like, well, why don't I make one? See what happens. Well, don't worry that there ain't no people in here yet. It's a brand new show. And I'm not on any of the other platforms. I'm not on social media advertising the show. I'm leaving that up to YouTube. They'll put me in front of whoever I'm supposed to be in front of. They'll find my audience. They're good. They're professionals. Okay. I'm not going to sweat it. YouTube's algorithm will sort all this stuff out. They'll get me in front of the people I need to be in front of. I like the fact that they started out by marketing this show internationally and that I've got a solid international base that's building. I think that will be a plus for this show in the future. I mean, if I wanted to, I could tell all my friends and family and pile them all into the chat. And none of you guys would get a chance to talk if you wanted to. I got a family full of girls. They all like to chat. They all like to talk. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'll let YouTube sort us out. We'll find us an audience and we'll build a chat community that wants to talk, and it'll happen eventually. You can't sweat the stuff that's beyond your control. You know what I mean? I need to get better about advertising the show. You know, I'm trying in the first couple of minutes, you know, so if somebody pauses over my thumbnail, they find out about the show, right? I'm working on that stuff, you know. Crumbling is critiquing me, and she's telling me, sit up straight, watch your posture, fix the lighting, you know, all that good stuff. And I need to do a better talking about the show and that kind of stuff. I don't have it down to a spiel, and I'm not going to sit here with a script. You know what I mean? And generally, what I end the show with is what this show, today's show, was all about. My whole live and let live speech. You know, I don't know. It should be called a speech, probably a rant, but you know. I just think we need to be more tolerant to one another, more understanding. Let some shit slide, you know. My sons are good about it. They don't harass me about the show or ask me, "What are you talking about, Father?" You know, they're they're pretty cool. They understand that I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I want to do. They've never been able to control me. Okay. When I was young, I was somewhat of a wild child. I'll admit it. Now I don't know, as quiet as they come. Okay. I mean, I did start a TV show, but I mean, I'm not politically active. You know, I'm not running around. I guess if I was doing anything besides this, it'd probably be teaching. You know, I'd probably be teaching, you know, something to do with table games or customer service or conflict resolution. You know, I studied all that crapola. You know, I did quite a bit of teaching before I left the gaming industry, but I don't want to wear a suit and tie anymore. Hell, I'm barely dressed. You know, V-neck t-shirts. Well, I tried wearing an overshirt last week, but it gets too hot in here. Well, I got the lights and all this crapola, you know. I don't want to, you know, overheat. I'm running the air conditioner. It's winter. I'm running the air conditioner to keep it cool in here. But I should close this show by telling you guys that I appreciate you watching. I do. It matters. The likes and subscribes, they help build this show in the eyes of the algorithm that YouTube has. And basically, the more likes and subscribes I get and the more viewing hours I get, the more people they'll put me in front of. And eventually we'll grow into something. But, you know, I've only been doing this for about 3 months now. And when I'm not on the other platforms advertising the show, I can understand why it's going to take a while. I'm really not sweating it right now. It's increasing, slow but sure. You know, it'll all work out the way it's supposed to. I'm not gonna sweat the small stuff, the stuff that I can't control, and I have no interest in getting on any of these other platforms. All I see on them is negativity and trolling, and why would anyone want to get involved in that? It doesn't interest me in the least. I know I'm people have told me that I need to broadcast on Twitch, and I have, you know, no thank you. I'm content with the show I got. the viewership will increase over time. I think it's going along just fine. I'd like it to move a little faster, but I'm now willing to bear down and give myself a script. I'm not willing to sit down and put together a plan to grow the channel. I'm just trying to prove the channel to be reliable. I'm just trying to be here every day, Monday through Friday, except tomorrow. Hey, I can't help it. I'm a human being. This is your proof that I'm not AI. My flaws are my bona fides. That's how you know I'm not artificial intelligence. Okay, I'm a real guy, and I really screw up, and it is what it is. All that said, enjoy your Thanksgiving. I hope it's a holiday for you. If it's not, make it a holiday. Get together with family and friends, break some bread, and be thankful for those that you got around you, for the life that you have. I think we're on the right track. Okay. Personal opinion. That's all I can ever offer you is my personal opinion, my perspective. That's one guy sitting on one couch. Okay. You guys make your own choices, make your own decisions. I'm not trying to control you. It is my belief that if you're always good, you're always kind, you're always inclusive, that all this goodness, kindness, and inclusiveness will come back to you tenfold. I truly believe that. Be nice to everybody all of the time. How can you lose? With that said, I will see you. I'll be back Friday at 3. The show will go on. Okay. Even if nobody chats. Okay. Thank you for your time and watching. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you could. If not, don't sweat it. We'll get by. Okay. I'll see you guys on Friday. Gobble, gobble. Happy Thanksgiving.